Hello guys, welcome to my channel Engineer PM Ma'am, and I am here with you to share a new topic and a new subject. So today I will post my first video on physics and my topic is about gravitation. My video will be useful to both 10th and 11th standard students, CBSE and state board both. So we'll start with the video directly. So guys, gravitation, as you see on your screen, Earth and apple. So when we think about gravitation, one word or one thing comes in our mind or one person comes in our mind, and that is Sir Isaac Newton, right? And also one more thing, that is the apple falling from a tree, right guys? So do you really think that only when the apple fall on Newton's head, or when he thought that apple is falling due to gravity, then only this concept came into existence? No guys, it is really not that fact. Yes, there was a much more big theory behind this gravitation. So we will talk about this theory a little because it is a much more of like a documentary study. So we will not do that because it's physics. So we will just see some 4 points which is important for our introductory part. So as I told you, it is not only Newton's law, it is the law of many more scientists. So first one was Sir Galileo, right? He was an Italian physicist and he was the first one to discover the fact of gravitation. So he discovered, actually we can say that gravitation was first discovered by Galileo. Then afterwards came our Indian astronomer and mathematician Aryabhatta. He studied the law of gravitation, or we can say theory. He didn't formulated the law, he studied the theory by observing the motion of moon, earth and other planets, and he observed something and gave some conclusions over it. But he didn't form the laws, he just studied and formulated the theory. Then after 1000 years after Aryabhatta, Tycho Brahe studied these planetary motions and he made some useful calculations, and also he gave certain observations which were much more of importance. Now, then came Kepler. Now, we know the 3 laws of Kepler are very famous, and these laws were formed by the observations by Tycho Brahe. Sometimes it is also told that these 3 laws of Kepler can be said as laws of Tycho Brahe and Kepler. As on this study, it is said that Kepler was an assistant to Tycho Brahe. So he has stolen the observations of Tycho Brahe and gave the 3 laws of planetary motion. But still there are no proofs of this. It is just said. So we don't have to make any PhD in this. So it was just an information which I wanted to give you. Now, the main topic is Kepler's 3 law. According to the observations made by Tycho Brahe, Kepler gave the 3 laws of planetary motion. So let's start with it. So what was Kepler's law of planetary motion? First of all, what he told that sun is in the middle, as everyone is telling that middle or sun is there, and all the planets are revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit and not in a circular orbit. Okay, before Kepler it was told that planets are revolving in circular orbit. So what did Kepler told? He told that planets are revolving in an elliptical orbit. So this is only the first law. We will just see in its what we can say that in law form. I will just take it afterwards in just a second. Now, also told, what he told also, that when planets are revolving around the sun in their orbits, they are not always in a same speed, and also they are not in a same distance from the sun, right? Their speed changes at every moment, their speed changes from the sun, and also as it is elliptical, the distance from sun of the planet also changes. It is also a matter of importance. As planets are revolving in an elliptical manner, obviously it will change its distance. If it rotates or it revolves in circular manner, then it can be in a same distance, but due to elliptical, the distance between the sun and the planet may change. Now, this is the first law, Kepler's first law. Similar, all planets move in elliptical orbits around the sun with the sun at one of the foci of the ellipse. So what I told you, the first line, that sun is at one of the foci, as there are two foci of the ellipse. Okay, there are two foci of the ellipse. Between these two foci, sun is at one of the foci, and ellipse and the planets are revolving in elliptical orbit. So see in diagrammatic form. See, this is our ellipse, means the orbit where the planets are revolving. These are the axes, these are the points. Now this is one foci of the ellipse, this is another foci of the ellipse. Now the distance between the two brown points, okay guys, the distance between these two brown points, or the horizontal distance of the ellipse, is 2a, and also the when we make it half from the center of the ellipse to the brown points on both the sides, it will become a and a. Okay, a plus a, it becomes 2a, and also this distance 2a, or this axis from these two brown points, or the horizontal axis, it is known as major axis, and these 2a are known as semi major axis. Means one single a is semi major axis and another single a is another semi major axis. Similarly, how we got the major axis is the, see, on vertical direction, this vertically two brown points you are seeing on the screen, on y axis two brown points, these two distances 2b, then half becomes b and b. How the 2a is major axis, horizontal one, the vertical one is minor axis, and the b and b, or the half distance, is semi minor axis. Okay guys, 2b is minor axis and this becomes semi minor axis. This is much more of importance, you must note it. Now as we go further, now see the distance from the center to the foci. See, distance from the center to the foci is AE. Okay guys, now how minus AE came? The distance, or in the coordinate system, on the x-axis the coordinates to the left are negative, so we took the sign negative. Also on y-axis the coordinates which are below the x-axis are negative, so that will also become negative. But now of importance is minus AE. So on x-axis, see, on right hand side AE, on left hand side AE, only sign distance is there, sign difference is there, sorry. On right hand side we got positive AE, on left hand side we got negative AE. Now we will give the names to the points. See, 0, B. Half from center to that point, y-axis, it was B, and as the point is on y-axis, its x coordinate will be 0. See, now similarly here, as it is below, it came minus b. Now a comma 0, why? Because the point is on x-axis. I am giving the points name to brown one, okay, maroon points. See the maroon one. Now a comma 0, 0 y, because on x-axis y coordinate is 0 and the distance is a. See down, semi major axis, so a comma 0. Similarly on left it will become minus a comma 0. Now on the foci, what it will become? On the foci, as the distance on the x-axis is minus AE and AE, so it became minus AE comma 0 and AE comma 0. 0 y, on x-axis y coordinate is 0. So guys, this is an ellipse traced by a planet with the sun at the focus. Now we can say that at distance AE there are two foci, minus AE and AE distance, so sun can be on any one of the foci. Now we will see practically how the planets are revolving in elliptical orbit and where is the sun. If you want, you can take the screenshot of this figure, or you can just pause for 1 minute, listen it again and then go forward. So guys, now we will go forward. See, this is our ellipse, this is our axis, this is the points, right guys? Now this is our foci, this is the another foci. Now this is the center, and suppose sun is at this foci where I have written S. You can take the another foci also, no problem. I have taken this one. You can take sun at this foci. Now, if the planet is here P, it is revolving. Now, is it close to the sun? Yeah, it is close to the sun. Now, this planet after revolving, it went there. Now, is it close to the sun? No, it is farther to S. Now, as the planet is revolving, do you just imagine or you think where will be the planet or where should be the position of the planet when distance between sun and planet becomes shortest? Which is the shortest distance? Don't you think it is this? Yeah, this maroon point. This will be the shortest distance between the sun and the planet. Now, we will give names first. These are the same coordinates which I have written back on the last slide. You can see it. I will not explain this again now. Now, we have to find distance SP. We will consider SP as R. It is suppose R. You can write on your notebook. SP is equal to R. Now, it is so simple. Mathematically, we can calculate. See, OP is A. Distance OP is A. See in the bracket at P. A also it is a semi-major axis. So, it is generally A, the distance. In the previous slide you can see. Also we know that what is OS? OS is AE and we have to find SP. So, what it will become fortunately? OP is bigger OP minus OS. So, R will be A minus AE because OP is A and OS is AE. So, we will get SP. And what is SP? SP is equal to R. So, we got A minus AE. And when we take A common, we get A common 1 minus E. Understood guys? Now, this point P where the planet is standing now or the shortest distance from the sun, what it is known as? It is known as perigee. This point is known as perigee. Now, similarly, how we have found out the shortest distance is the farthest distance. Now, from S where the sun is there, which will be the longest or the farthest distance? Obviously, this one. Don't you think? This one? Yeah. This will be the farthest distance. How you will calculate? Simple. OS plus OP. What is OS? AE. And what is OP? A. We can't take minus A. Minus indicates the direction or the coordinates. What is distance? Distance is always taken positive. So, OP becomes A. Only A. So, we get R equals to A plus AE. And we get when we take A common 1 plus E. And how this is known as perigee? This farthest one is known as FOG. Got it guys? Okay. So, you can note it down or take a screenshot fast. We'll go forward. Now, this is the similar, only I have written in one slide. What is it? When the planet is closer to the sun, it is known as perihelion or perigee. Two names are there, perihelion or perigee, the same formula which I have discussed on the figure. Then, when planet is farthest, it is known as aphelion or apogee. You can take a screenshot of this also or you can pause and write down. So simple. Now comes Kepler's second law, or it is also known as law of areas. Now, planet do not revolve around the sun with constant speed. We know that, we have discussed in previous slides. We also, now this is one new concept, that when the planet is closer to the sun, it moves little fast, means it is faster, and when it goes farther to the sun, its velocity decreases, means its speed decreases. How? This law tells us how. See, what is the law? The law is the line that joins a planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. What does it say? The line on which sun is there, planet is there, that line, okay, or the revolving line, it will sweep equal area in equal interval of time. So, how we can say that? Suppose a planet is revolving in an orbit. Just you understand it. We will also I will also make you understand in a figure form. Now planet is revolving. Now if from one point planet is moving and it goes to the another point in 5 minutes, okay, and the planet covers area of 10 meter square. Now when the planet will move in another 5 minutes, in another 5 minutes also the planet should cover 10 meter square only. This is the law. If in 5 minutes it is covering 20 meter square, in next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, sorry, what I told you first, if in 5 means in first 5 minutes it is covering 20 meter square, in next 5 minutes also it should cover 20 meter square. This is the law. In the figure you will understand more quickly or more easy. See, aerial velocity of means this law is also known as aerial velocity of planet is constant. Now what is aerial velocity? See, aerial velocity is dA by dt. Means what? Change in area with respect to time. Means when area changes or when time changes, area changes. Means area is changing with respect to time. Means there is certain coordination between it. Now this theory you must have gone little hectic. You must have not understood anything. I know that you have not understood. Now you will understood or understand more clearly. See guys, this is an ellipse. These are your axis. This is the foci, right? And consider sun is at this foci. Now if the planet is here and it covers this much distance, from this point it went to that point at P, right? The area is this much. In this means to the right from these two lines, this area that planet has covered. Now this is the closest position to the sun. Now we will see the longest. If planet moves from here to here, from the sun, you have to calculate area from the sun. So the area will be this. This area should also be equal, right? So for this law to follow, when the planet is near the sun, it covers or it has more speed. It moves faster when it is closest to the sun, and as it go away from the sun, it moves with little speed or the speed decreases. Means when the sun is closest to the planet, when the planet is closer to the sun, it moves faster, and as it go away from the sun, its speed decreases. Right guys? Why? Because this area law. From the sun, the area means the area should be equal. In equal interval of time, the area swept should be equal. This is the law. Understood? Means if the means from this P on the right hand side where it is closer, if it is covering 5 minutes, in 5 minutes it is covering this much area. In this green part also in 5 minutes it should cover that much area only. For that purpose the planet decreases its speed, and it is all universal, it is all standard. We are studying it, we are not doing it. Right guys? Now we'll go to the third law. It is very simple. The statement is little bit made, means we say that jumbled, but it is in only 3 words letters we can give the Kepler's third law. See, the square of the time period of revolution of a planet around the sun is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of the ellipse traced by the planet. Didn't understood anything? I know that. See, simply it is t square directly proportional to r cube. See what they told you, square of what? Time period. We took t square directly proportional to what? Cube of the semi-major axis. Means what? Cube of r. We can also say a because we take semi-major axis as a. So we can write t square directly proportional to a cube also. But in standard form it is given t square directly proportional to r cube. So we have written. So this is the very simple law.